I'm Matthew Martin, and the news is good. Tonight, the Ides of March. So here's the thing about the sermon this Sunday. It's March 15th, and if you go back and you watch the video that I shot a few months ago now, talking about all the sermons I had planned for the year, I always put the disclaimer out, these sermons are subject to change. Something may come up, some emergency may happen, some serious event may occur where it requires a pulpit response to it. So I'm always open to moving a sermon out and putting it over there, maybe doing it the next year or something and putting in something different. So when I made that video, I said, oh, March 15th, that's Pi Day. So I'm going to have a really fun sermon called If My Heart Was a Pie Chart. Well, I was told by a good friend of mine that March 15th is not Pi Day. That would be March 14th because pi is not 3.15, pi is 3.14. And I knew that, I just forgot that. So next year, when Sunday falls on March 14th, 314, that will be the Pi sermon. So what do I do then? Today, or this coming Sunday, is March 15th. What's that? March 15th is the Ides of March, which if you know your Shakespeare or your Roman history, the Ides of March was the day on which Julius Caesar, bit it. So I thought, is there something in that I can use? Is there some sermon there that I can do something with? And I think there is. And I've got a sermon outline for you that will bring the story of Julius Caesar and the conspiracy against him and the for lack of a better word, we'll call it tragedy, of Brutus and how he conspired to betray his friend Julius Caesar. And that whole thing, to connect it to Jesus and the conspiracy against Jesus, the betrayal, not by Brutus, but by Judas. Their names are almost the same. And how at the end of it, we'll tie it in with choose your king. Choose which king you're going to serve. Because the play really presents Julius Caesar as a kind of a complicated hero. The story is not Julius Caesar's story. It's really Mark Antony's and Brutus's story. But Julius Caesar is obviously prominent for the majority of the beginning of the story, especially. But he's a complicated man. He's so heroic and noble, and you find yourself rooting for him. But if you just kind of zoom out, you realize, no, this guy is not that great. He has a lot of flaws, and you kind of understand why they're conspiring against him. It's just they go so far with it that you end up having to circle back around to being like, no, this is unjust. This is wrong. I support Mark Antony, and so forth. So you've got that side of it. And then you've got Jesus, the other king, who really does do no wrong. And you can zoom all the way in and you can zoom all the way out. And what you keep finding in every way you look at him is this is a king worth serving. And that makes his death even more unjust and even more wrong and even more despicable. So don't worry, I've got it all kind of figured out. I'm going to all tie it together. It's going to be a nice, neat little package. So I hope to see you this Lord's Day for what I think will be an interesting sermon, kind of paralleling Judas Iscariot and Jesus Christ. Not Judas, Julius Caesar and Jesus Christ, kind of paralleling Judas Iscariot and Brutus, and sort of paralleling this king over here that the people were conflicted on, and this king of the world over whom none of us should be conflicted. We should all be unanimously in agreement that this is the one to serve. That's the sermon this Lord's Day. I hope to see you here this coming Sunday for the Ides of March. God bless. It is Friday, March 13th, and you would not believe how many people said to me, you did the prayer on Friday, February 13th, and you didn't even mention that it's Friday the 13th. So it is Friday, March 13th. February, March always have their days kind of overlap like that. So it's February, March 13th. And I need to say something about Friday the 13th. And I really have nothing to say because I never liked those movies. I thought they were always cheesy and dumb. It is supposed to be a scary day. It's supposed to be a day that, scary things happen and bad things happen. I guess. I don't know. So I guess my prayer for you today is that nothing out of the ordinary happens. My prayer for you today is that nothing scary happens, that nothing terrifying happens, that you're not startled or shocked or certainly not beaten with some club or stabbed with some machete or chainsaw or whatever it was that Jason used. I don't even remember. Again, I never liked those movies. I was a Nightmare on Elm Street kid, not Friday the 13th. So my prayer for you today is that everything is just peachy. And that's an okay prayer to make. In fact, it's better than okay. Yes, we're Christians, and yes, we're going to have times of difficulty and struggles, and yes, we're going to have our hardships, but we don't have to. It's okay to have an okay day. And that doesn't in any way diminish your relationship with God if you say, today, nothing bad happened. I know that Paul says all who live godly in Christ will suffer persecution. But he didn't mean necessarily that every single day is going to be a bad day. I don't think that's Christianity. I think Christianity is not every day is a battle. Not every day is a struggle. Every day is a suffering. Every day is horrible. Because that doesn't sound like Jesus. That doesn't sound like what he wants. I think instead it's every day is just what it is. And you will live that day, good or bad, with God. And if it's good, you'll give thanks to God. And if it's bad, you'll give it to God. But either way, God walks beside you. Even today, Friday the 13th, God walks beside you. So you have no need to dread, no need to fear. You're in good hands. That's my prayer for you today. I hope it's yours for mine as well. God bless.